tour shadows with the TIs, you've done your shadowing during your tour time, so it'll be just like that. And then when you get to housing, obviously there won't be a housing representative or a housing tour, but you'll essentially say what is on the tour script up until then, and then you can pause, and then you can take it back up of like, all right, well, I'm glad you all enjoyed whatever you say right after the housing rep ends their portion. So does that make sense? Does that help a little bit? And then you'll obviously be in your tour attire, your polo. You don't need to be in your formal pants or skirt, whatever you usually wear. But just wear comfortable shoes, obviously, right? Any questions on that? Yeah.
With 55 minutes, is that just our portion, or does that include like start and then all the stuff?
No, so it's just your portion, so it doesn't include the housing. Housing, it's usually like 10 to 15 minutes. Maybe even more, I think. Depends. About 10 to 15 minutes.
Depends.
Other questions? Alright. So, just wanted to do a little quick check-in. Some of you are going to be starting yours on Monday, as early as Monday. So just wanted to see how y'all are doing. Who has theirs next week? So how are you feeling?
Okay.
Nervous?
Wait, so after you get tour certified, do you start giving tours?
Yep.
Yeah, so if your tour's the next day, you're going out.
So after you're done, that's a good point. So after you're done, your evaluator will give you some feedback, but they're not going to tell you whether you pass or not. Okay? So we meet on Mondays. So on Mondays, we're going to have a conversation about the folks who have gone through. We'll look at your rubric and see how you did. The TIs, myself, and Eunice will be there, and then we'll discuss. And then we'll send out a formal email letting you know that you passed. So that's kind of how it'll work. So it'll take probably about a week or so for you to find out. And then as soon as you find out through that email, then the following time you're on tour, you'll start, being part of the rotation. Yep. Alana, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I just like a tip. It's important when you practice housing that you practice your timing on housing really thoroughly, because you want to be able to say all of your housing portion and then end right when you get to Maya and Omeka, because you don't want to be talking there and then the housing representatives standing next to you, even though they won't be, but you should practice that timing, because that can be kind of tricky. I know I had a lot of trouble with it. So find out where in the union you should stop talking about the union and transition over to housing.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I think working on those transitions, I think from last year that was some of the feedback, overall feedback, is working on the transitions, because we can tell if you haven't practiced, if you're starting housing when you're on the bridge, when you should probably be starting it when you're actually in the union, because it does take some time to go through all those different points. Kat?
I usually stop when I talk about the union. I'll just quickly stop over night, because you're kind of tired by then too, and you may need to just stop and take a break and pull yourselves together. I think it's okay if you just stop in the union and finish that, and then I usually just start talking about housing as I'm walking through the union, and it'll take you the entire time up till my home I get to say everything, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Rachel?
How much longer will we be doing tour shadows then, if people are going to start giving them tours?
Yeah, so tour shadow, essentially you'll go on through the time that you do your tour assessment.
Okay.
Yeah. Did that answer your question?
Will we be shadowing the new people as they come on? Because I'm the very last day of assessment, so I was just wondering do I just, because I've already shadowed a lot of people, yeah. So do I just keep switching off?
We can talk about that, because I know we've talked about you going out with a rookie, and I know we've done some of the things in the past. But we can talk about during RTI and see, based on where you all are now, because you probably have seen all of them maybe twice of the experience that are on your tour time. So we'll brainstorm some things. Is there any suggestions that you have?
No, I was just curious, what the
process looks like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah.
You won't shadow another rookie that's giving a tour if they're already tour certified, so just kind of be aware of that, like rookies, like if you do get tour certified, you won't be getting shadowed by anybody else in case like that causes anxiety or anything. Just let me know.
Yeah, but I think people are gonna just keep shadowing until you get certified because that's like extra help, you know, like you're hearing it, the more you hear it, the better, so that's.
Yeah, Greg.
So after we get tour certified, do we not have to come to training anymore, or?
All right. Bold move.
No, but how does that work? Like, do we still take quizzes?
Yeah.
So,
All the semester?
yeah. Those will be quizzes. There's still a lot that we haven't covered.
I mean, everyone was thinking it, so.
So we'll still have, we're still going to have the different colleges, so the assistant deans are going to be coming in. We're going to have NASDAQ shops tour, so yeah, you're going to be having, and don't forget, you're going to have a final at the end, too. Angela.
Just kind of going off that, the point of fall training is not necessarily just to get tour certified. It's to prepare you for orientation as well. So there's still a ton of information. You guys might think you know everything you can possibly know about the school. Trust me, there's more. So just like, keep that in mind. Even if you are tour certified, keep spirits up and stay motivated to continue to learn more and more about the university and everything.
I learn stuff every day. Even, graduated and being an alum, like there was so much stuff I learned in these presentations today, so that's great. Yeah, Megan?
Are we gonna get trained on like events, things like that? I
Like,
mean, like, will we go out with experienced ambassadors and like watch them like perform during event and stuff? Cause like half these events, I don't even know what they are.
yeah, so the first couple times, like the event captain is really a good person to reach out. Or if you have an event next semester, we can definitely cover some of the protocols in the beginning of the spring semester, because that's when y'all start doing some of those events. But that's a good point. I'll jot it down in my notes and we can cover that.
Events like PSCs?
Like working different events,
Like
like
presidential.
what are the expectations and stuff like that.
Well, yeah,
Do we have to present anything yet?
Oh,
That's
I mean, typically the events are like giving tours,
oh, so
and then if
okay.
it's not, it's usually like directional or.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
they vary, but like that's the whole point again of like completing this training is you're not just becoming a tour guide, like you're becoming a generalist about the school. So like I get questions to this day that are like totally off the tour script, and I'm like, oh, like I remember from training we learned about this, and like you can help them like answer those questions, or even with directional, you know where stuff on campus is. So yeah, just going through this training I think is good for completing those events.
Yeah, and, we've talked about this earlier as well, how, y'all are training to be generalists, right? So we go over the tour script in the beginning, we take some time, y'all are learning it, but then we have a supplemental portion where we have representatives from each department. So obviously you're not going to remember everything that they discuss, and nor do we expect it, but we definitely want you all to be taking notes, making sure that you are. We're not done yet, so if y'all can stop packing up. So you want to make sure that you're still learning some of these things, because it'll come up, as Natalie said, during one of your tours or during orientation. So just absorb, be a sponge, as much information as you can to help those students when they come to orientation. Will be really important. Alana?
Another thing too that you'll learn like throughout the semester is you're gonna learn a lot of like services that are offered to the students. And like right now you think, oh, I kind of just need to know for the quiz, but it's like crazy how many parents will come up to you during orientation and be like, what's this? What's this? What can my student do here? How can they get help here? Well, how do you get this? How do you get that? Like. So it's like way more than just tour. You learn a lot from just the fall on how to deal with things during orientation, and I think that's like really important too, especially when you meet the assistant deans. Take really good notes on that, because you're going to get questions from students, and you might be working a college that day that's not yours. So just keep that in mind.
And trust me, y'all are going to be more than trained. Obviously you're here 2 hours a week. So don't worry, we're going to set you up for success. week. That's exciting. So keep it up. Be each other's support system too. Keep each other up. So with that being said, Natalie, if you want to come up and get someone else.
So Frankie basically said the things that I was going to talk about, like the procedures for tour assessment, but one last thing I wanted to mention is going off what he said about being supportive. So if you know that someone's going to have like their assessment this week or anything, be respectful of that. So like all of you are pretty, I'm assuming pretty nervous about your assessment. So when they come back to the office from their assessment, they'll be like, oh, how'd it go? Because even though you're interested, if it didn't like really go well or if they don't want to talk about it, you want to be respectful of that. You know what I mean? So unless they like prompt to talk about it, like that's fine, but don't like ask because you want to respect their space and not make them feel pressured or anything like that. But that's about it. Again, come in appropriate tour attire. You're not going to be using a mic or anything. You're just going to meet your assessor outside the PSC, and then they'll come and meet you, and they're going to play like a character basically. So don't treat them like a TI or a supervisor. Treat them like whoever they're, whoever they are, a transfer student, perspective, whatever they are, because they're going to be playing that character throughout the duration of the tour. So treat them like an actual tour member. But that's it. Does anyone have questions about assessment or anything like that? All right, I think that's it, right, Frankie?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so now we're going to meet with our TI so you can get your quizzes back and just for a checkup.